the panel discussion on evaluating our AI maturity, benchmarking technological and business readiness. May I invite on stage Dr. Gaurav Dhakar, Head of Repeatable AI Solution Strategy, HCLTech, Mr. Ishtiaq Tonse, MD, Sales Centri, Mr. Revanth Gopi Chowdary Konakanchi, Head of Engineering NxtWave, and this panel discussion is moderated by Mr. Varun Sharma, VP, Conversational AI, Helo.ai by VivaConnect. Please join me in welcoming them with a round of applause.
Last session. I hope you're not in a hurry to go away. We'll try to keep this short and sweet. Just before we get started, a little bit of introduction. My name is Varun Sharma, and I represent Helo.ai by VivaConnect. We are a 25-year-old CPaaS company, and we provide solutions such as SMS, RCS, WhatsApp, email, voice, and we do this by building two-way automated journeys through chat and voice bot solutions. In this session today, what we're going to do is we're going to deep dive into experimenting with AI to maturing with AI. And before I ask our panelists some questions, why don't we do a quick round of introductions, and probably you can talk a little bit about what does an AI maturity means to each of you. Ishtiaq.
Sure. Hi, good evening, guys. Been a long day. Thank you for being there. So I manage a company called Centri. So we also went through the process that we're going to discuss. So I think it's very relatable. So what do? We automate from research, identifying an ICP, to ensuring a closure happens with agentic AI. We are a journey of understanding how we can build emotional intelligence with it, as well as see how we can feed memory and a recall to AI so that it can personalize. Right. So in terms of AI maturity, I've been in the tech space for quite some time consulting. So I feel AI is a catalyst and the process remains the same, right? Whatever people follow in the tech industry, right? So I think one, you need to have strong leadership who has the vision and the strategy that they want to get into AI, right? And also have clarity as to which part of the process will get you ROI, which is profitable concurrently, can be more efficient, right? Data readiness in terms of where the data is stored, how the data is stored, is it clean enough, right? Whether it's voice, whether it's text, that would be second. Then third, I think the infrastructure, the team. Is the team ready for AI? Is the team old or what do you say, more experienced to unlearn few things that they've learned how to code and get back to how to code in a better way with all the tools available in AI. And finally, I think cost benefit analysis and strong governance. I think we're evolving into AI. Governance, compliance to it, how we manage it, like in the previous session that was mentioned, right? So I think that's what it takes. Thank you.
Gaurav.
Thank you, Ishtiaq. Hi, everyone. Good evening. This is Gaurav Dhakar from HCLTech. At HCLTech, I lead a practice called as Industry AI Solutions. Now, as a part of this particular practice, we build industry solutions. These are repeatable IP-led solutions, and the whole idea is to create these solutions across the value chain and help our partners and customers. Coming back to the question which was asked about the awareness, so you have to be. I wanted to be a little creative in that, and probably you have to think through it. Consider x-axis and y-axis, and on the x-axis you have time and effort, and on the y-axis probably you have something business value or a maturity curve. So this is like a S-curve kind of a thing, and these are there would be four milestones to say it, and these four milestones would be say awareness to enable to integrate, and then finally reaching to the autonomy part of it, or maybe the native part of it. So most of the organization today, I would say that have passed by that awareness milestone. And when I say awareness milestone, it is about knowing about the AI, or maybe using this co-pilots and all those things, not thinking about on the scale side of it, or maybe the very loosely ended governance part of it. So that's where the awareness milestone is there. Now, as you go a little bit up on the S curve, you would see that then the enablement happen. So it is about experiencing the LLMs which we have it, or maybe getting into some kind of the POCs basically, or the early stage kind of a production kind of a stuff which is there, and then from there it is about the integration side of it. So when the AI gets actually integrated into the workforce, then this integrated kind of a phase starts. And then finally on the native side of it, it is a full autonomy with the agents which we are talking about today. And then it is about the economies at the scale which we can think through the implementation of the AI. So it's a complete S-curve, and maybe this is applicable right now. As we go, maybe after 3 months or 6 months, this may not be true because something else will come. Technology is changing very fast. But this is a quick view I just wanted to share with you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Gaurav. Yeah, hi everyone. This is Revanth. I lead the engineering team at NxtWave. So just a brief about NxtWave. We are a NetTech company. So what we fundamentally do is we help undergrad students get into software careers. So basically, if you typically look at a Tier 2, Tier 3 kind of an college, right? The students right now passing out of these colleges have skills that are quite different from what the actual industry expects, right? So we just try to, bridge this gap. We speak with this, we partner with close to 2,000 different companies, try to understand what each of these companies' needs are, what are the skills that they look at. And then we design the curriculum in a reverse engineered format so that by the time these students graduate, they're ready for the industry. So that's what we do. Now, coming to the maturity of AI, I'll probably put this from a consumer standpoint. So now, let's say, one major thing that I typically look at is how much of outcomes are getting established after using AI. So I'll probably explain this with an example. In our learning platform, right? So we have an AI which helps solve the students' doubts. So whenever the student writes a code and when they're stuck at somewhere, they just ask the AI and, it helps them move forward by solving the test cases. So initially when we started implementing it, the AI was, right away giving the answers for the students. So it produced the entire code. This was simply looked into the code, implemented it, and, they were going ahead with the solution. But then that's where, if we just look at it from a technology standpoint, the model metrics are good, the answers are getting solved, everything is good. But from a student learning outcome standpoint, they're just not learning the skill. They're just simply, whatever AI is blabbing out, they're just putting it there and, kind of moving ahead. So what we later understood is, there should be enough guardrails which directly don't give the answer to the student, but nudge the student to move forward so that, they have the actual learning. So when we talk about mature AI products, so I believe that, at the end it has to, kind of get the business outcome that we are intended to, what we are using AI for. So that's one thing. The second thing that I look at is, how much of this AI is embedded into the user workflow. It shouldn't be like an additional tool that is sitting by the side or, additional thing that the user has to use. But how much of it is embedded into their active learning loops so that, they are leveraging this AI. And then the third point I also look at is how much of it is operatable at a scale, right? So at an initial POC level, we use the best model and, it gives you the best accuracy and everything. But when you try to scale it across, right? So you have to optimize for cost, you have to optimize for latency, and you have to have enough guardrails in place. So all of these things also kick in, right? So you have to have a clear visibility on what your P99 latency is, or how is the cost coming at when every customer is paying certain price for the product, right? So is your cost, kind of balancing it out. So these are certain things which have to be looked into when we speak about, kind of looking at an matured AI product, AI outcome.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. Let's jump right in. Gaurav, I think I'll start with you. Let's start with the big picture, right? I'm sure at HCL, you work with a lot of organizations that are at various stages of AI adoption. Now, how do you identify these opportunities where you go from, say, like a pilot to a production stage?
Okay. So this is a very interesting kind of a thing, and this is all about the journey of the AI, which we have seen over a period of time. So I would say there are a couple of tenets, and these are the points which I wanted to talk about it. The first is about the awareness. So go back maybe 18 months back, the awareness, a larger part of the awareness was not there, and maybe the awareness was in the pockets, and it was like an isolated kind of a situation. But now today, if you look at from an organizational perspective and the clients which we are supporting, the CXO level, everybody is aware, or maybe aware more than us at sometimes. So it is something, a journey which they have gone through it. The second important point which I would like to talk about is like from a discretionary spend that to a plant spend. So this is AI now is getting as a part of their budgets. Previously it was not there, but now it is like they actually wanted to spend on that, and they wanted to get the AI into their workflows. The third is, I would say, in terms of the preparedness, which is accelerating this overall journey. So maybe preparedness in terms of the capability building they are talking, or maybe preparedness in terms of the the change management which we are doing it. So this is where the organization is getting prepared themselves to embrace AI, to say, okay, hey, hello, we are ready for it, and let's go forward. And I think last but not the least, I would say the overall picture in a way that they are looking at the competition, they are looking at the things which are happening in the market, they are then understanding that this is real, there's a benefit which is coming up, so a lot of things are moved when you get the ROI, when you get the real benefit on the ground. And this is something, these are the 4-5 things I would say that is accelerating currently the mindset of our customers to move forward and embrace the AI.
Okay. Ishtiaq, would you like to build on that? As the founder of Sales Centri, I guess you are at the heart of not only building these solutions, but deploying and scaling them with your consumers, right? So for you, how do you identify that your consumers are ready to adopt to your AI solutions? And what are the questions that you put to them at the discovery?
So I'll tell you about our journey, right? So when we started off, we didn't automate everything. We didn't get into AI, agentic AI. We had to evolve. So we built fragmented solution for each of the departments, trying to understand where the ROI makes sense, what kind of AI can we leverage in terms of where does it stand, right? So now we're moving into agentic. So in the journey, I think from a decision maker as well, it's very important, as we call ourselves as sales consultants. So what we try to understand is, what is the goal? Is AI a widget, or they're actually trying to address something with it, right? So is there a measurable impact that they can bring onto the table, show to the board, leadership? So first we start off with very basic layman language, not complicating. We say, okay, where do you stand current state? Where does your technology stand? Where do you want it to evolve, right? What is the gap from a technology standpoint, from a data as well as governance standpoint, as well as your team? The culture within the team. Change management is the most difficult thing, right? So I'm sure he will echo that. A lot of large organizations go through that. We build a lot of tools, but people don't understand them, or they don't want to use it. So what we try to do is we interact with the team as well, and we try to make this entire journey as a we build kind of experience. Saying that, okay, this is what you're doing, AI is going to enable, and we also try to communicate in a very sensitive way that, hey, the next 5 years is going to be sales agent with AI agents under them, right? So instead of you achieving 100, you have 5 more people helping you achieve 1,000. So efficiency, effort, so customer experience, right? So, and the output, cost benefit analysis, what we try to showcase, and then we take that forward from there.
Okay. Now, Revan, from a customer readiness perspective, I think you mentioned that a lot of your customers are the younger audience, right? So what are the observable signals that you see which tells you that the Gen Z is actually ready to implement AI for high stake innovations?
Okay. So from a signal standpoint, I think we typically look at how much of the students, I mean, from our in terms of our customer perspective, are they using the products that we have designed? So are they looking at it as an initial tool or a side tool, or are they embracing it in terms of making sure that it's part of their workflow, right? So again, I'll probably take an example. So we have something called, again, this AI tutor, which kind of helps the student, whenever they are stuck at a particular question, right? So it helps the student to get it solved and move forward. So are the customers right now, and then this is one way in which the student gets a help. The second way the student gets a help is to look into the solutions themselves or look into the hints. So what we typically look at is what is the default action that the student is taking. Is he using the AI which helps him formulate the answer, or is he directly going and checking the solution, or directly looking into the hints? So if we look at this particular perspective, right, at this particular data point, that gives us a good signal. Mainly, what is the default action that the customer is taking? That is a good signal for us. And also from a customer standpoint, right? When do they trust that this is going to help me? So there should be a clear visibility from a customer standpoint. Trust comes with kind of being transparent. Your AI should tell that these are the steps you have to follow, and these are the things that you need to know. And based on the things, you're getting this score. If I just tell that, if I keep it as a black box, right, then the customers don't trust the AI, right? So we should kind of make sure that why they're getting that particular score. What is the reasoning behind it. So that should be very well explained for the customer, so that that trust gets established. And based on the trust, again, they kind of adopt the product a bit more.
Ishtiaq, I want you to wear your leadership hat again. For you, your co-founders, your CXOs, your board of directors, what does AI-ready leadership looks like?
So I think what we believe is when I speak to the board as well as top leadership, right, whether within the company or outside, I think clarity is important, right? Do we need to be AI ready, right? As well as ask the right questions, have a strategic output, saying that this is what we want to achieve by this date, right? So again, going back to this core principle, once we convince the leadership and the board or the investors, we need to look at where do we stand? Are there defined process flows? Are there data that can be easily leveraged from the CRM that exist? And can we build a culture where we slowly transition in terms of making awareness, like he mentioned, training them, getting them to understand why AI and what is the output. So let's say, for example, in our team, we try our best to have very limited resources, hire efficiently. We might do a interview with about 100 people, and I have a concept saying that anyone who's drunk and can code is a good coder, right? So I think efficiently hiring the right people with the right mindset and the culture, maybe some part of Gen Z and a mix of millennials and beyond that from a leadership standpoint. I think that is what we need to look at as a vision and a strategy. Thank you.
I just have one more point to add here. So when it comes to the culture, right? So right now we are fairly close to 2,000 to 3,000 members team, right? So what we have observed is how frequent iterations do you pass it down through your team, right? So from a leadership standpoint, there are certain people who are technical, or the founders might know what are the implications of AI, why do we need to use it and everything. But there are certain set of people who still look it as a black box, right? So they also need to understand what is possible with AI, what is not possible with AI. And then that needs to flow down throughout the organization. So there needs to be a continuous loop of learning that has to happen, and also the opportunity for experimentation, right? So when it comes to startups, right, there's a lot of ad hoc things each of the teams do, right? It's not everything is not a well-defined process. So we give a lot of flexibility for the teams to kind of try out a number of different tools. Like for example, right now when I was visiting the stalls, I see a lot of stalls on voice AI and these things, right? So like, do we create a barrier that the sales team has to, go to the tech team, and, the tech team has to, kind of explore this particular tool and, kind of create a solution for them? Or do we empower the sales team themselves to, kind of use these tools as their own? So that kind of thought process and mindset would also, kind of push AI more into the nerves, rather than, delegating it to someone who is good at AI. What we strongly believe is, even though at this point you're not good, someone is not good at AI, it doesn't mean, they are going to, continue in the same way. They can just quickly learn and, kind of adopt to it. So I think that thought process and mindset is also very important.
Gaurav, last question about the leadership before we drill down, right? So, in your experience working with leaders and CEOs of different companies, what are some of the concerns that have been raised about AI maturity in their own organizations?
All right. See, look at from a a leadership perspective or from a CXO perspective. So one of the big concern is like the preparedness. That is the organization well prepared or not? To there's so many things which is happening around the technology. There's so many things happening, and every day there's something or the other which is coming up. Like the technology is changing very fast. So when I say preparedness, we always say that there's AI for data, as in like you have various places where you can inject the data and you can get something meaningful out of it because AI is there. But do you have data for AI? Because a lot of organizations today are also working backward in terms of structuring their data sets so that tomorrow they can get meaningful insights from there. So this is where a lot of time and effort is getting from a lot of attention is been getting from the leadership. The second thing is, I think we just spoke about it from the culture side of it. So this is a change management. I mean, this is not going to happen like a switch of a button that AI is here, let's transform ourselves. It is not going to happen. It's a journey, and people will understand, people will learn about it. Obviously some would learn faster, some would learn relatively slower, but then the whole idea is about the capacity and the capability building, right? Because the roles are changing, the environment is changing. The way previously the work was supposed to be done, now it is altogether a different way. So and then the whole idea is like how at the end of the day you are measuring it, because your measurement criteria are changing. Yesterday you were doing on the basis of let's say using the less number of the people. Today you are talking about the token consumption, right? So this is all together in terms of the measurement criteria and the KPIs are changing. So leaders are very concerned about it. They are trying to work around the things that what suits to their organization. Like it is not one fit for the entire scheme of things. It is like it's very individualistic. It is very hyper localized kind of a thing. So they are figuring out, and I'm sure most of them have done that thing, and sooner or later everybody will reach to a point that they know what they want.
Revanth, let's talk a little bit more on the measurements, right? Let's try and build on what Gaurav has said. So if I would ask you to pick 3 to 5 must-have components of an evaluation plus a monitoring framework, which is going to separate your pilots to your productions, what in your opinion would those be?
So the first thing is having the right data sets, right? Right evaluation data sets. So at a pilot stage, you ask a question to the AI, it responds back, or you design some agentic workflow and it performs the desired action. But when you scale AI to a production level, right? So there could be n number of different scenarios, n number of different cases that come in. So are we having the right kind of an evaluation data set that you have in place? So we call it typically the golden data set, golden evaluation data set. So something of that sort, which again, it's something that is not readily available in the industry, right? It's something that is very unique to your team, unique to your use case. So it's something that has to be built up. So that is something that I look at. And then probably also in terms of in terms of the data set, again, are we having the right kind of metrics, right? So like when I say, is your AI doing well? Is it the accuracy, or is it the correctness, or again, there could be some use case specific metrics as well. For example, is it actionable? So there are certain 4 to 5, or it could be even more, but there are certain multi-level metrics that you're looking at, which would prove that this particular AI is performing at a good quality in the production level. That is one thing, and also the third thing is having a human in the loop review as well. So some person trying to review, even though you have certain metrics, right? So human in the loop, it could be just simply auditing certain set of certain set of queries, or some sort of an automation, but you should have a proper human in the loop which would kind of evaluate